Howdy guys and gals, my name is Kyle Broderick and welcome to the Social Regressive. A little while back we did a review on the new Bushnell Engage 2.5 to 10 by 44 millimeter rifle scope. It was an excellent rifle scope. It was a lot of fun to shoot. It has a great reticle in there. It has just pristine glass. It's amazing for the price that you're paying. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a look at the companion binoculars. And for those of you looking for the short form of this review, I'm going to get kind of wordy on this, so here's the quick one. Yeah, go buy them. Your grandkids are going to love them because, I say that because really these things, they appear to be very tough, very well built. The glass is just great. And yeah, I think these will stand up to years and years and years and years and decades of abuse. So yeah, let's dig into this thing. We're going to start out with some of the goodies that you get with this thing. We're going to get into the specs, and then we're going to get into the bigger picture of what I think about using these things. Okay, so first off, just take a look at the packaging. Bushnell has really been upping their advertising in their own packaging. This is just a beautiful box. I love the colors and all that. And inside this box, you get this neat little bag right here for protecting the binoculars, and you can wear this while you're actually wearing the binoculars around your neck. You just kind of thread in from the side here, so this will just give you a little bit of extra padding. You also get a cleaning lens, or a lens cleaning cloth for this, and actually you do get this kind of neat little bag. Let me show you this. It's kind of a silvery bag, sort of a microfiber thing. So this can kind of double as protection to keep dust out of the optics and whatever. And it can kind of double as a cleaning cloth as well. This feels like the same kind of microfiber that you get in a decent cleaning cloth. So that's kind of neat. Some of the other goodies that you get just straight from the factory with this thing, you get these lens covers on the kind of back end of things. And you get these removable lens covers on the front. These are kind of cool in that you can just pop them off if you don't want to carry them around. And it's just a little rubber ring that slips over there. And then these things can close up to keep things off your glass. All right, so that's kind of here's one of the big goodies that you get with it. Here's the a really nice padded and logoed strap that comes with it. And this is one that I took these binoculars out on a hike around a frozen lake, actually, just about a month ago. And I had these around my neck the whole time, and I wasn't really bothered by, any kind of pressure on the back of my neck. Didn't get any little, scratches or anything. It's a very nice strap, and I think it complements very well. It's not too thick. Some of the camera straps that you get are going to be considerably thicker than this, maybe even an inch thicker. I think these are very well suited to the task at hand. So let's take a look at some of the specs on this thing. These stand at 5.5 inches tall. They weigh 23.5 ounces. And it comes in a variety of form factors. You can get everything from 8x all the way up to 12x. And this model that we're looking at here today is a 10 by 42. So this has kind of their middle size objective lenses. They can go all the way up to 50, I believe. You can get a 12 by 50. I think there's also a 10 by 50. And yeah, so this has a pretty good amount of magnification to it. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, maybe when to pick which magnification. Some of the features that you get on this thing, aside from, some of the goodies that I just talked about, you get twist up eye cups. And these are a little bit on the thin side, but you're looking at a pretty low profile, kind of small roof prism set of binoculars. These aren't meant to be, the gigantic field binoculars or whatever. These are meant to be very easily man-portable. And so, you don't get these, the gigantic sort of eye cups that you might get on, something that you might want to cart around in a tank or a big truck. Right here, this is one of the neatest tricks that the binoculars have to offer, and that is this locking diopter ring. This is just the coolest thing. I don't know how many times I've been out with a scope or something and somebody knocks the diopter off, and I don't know why everything is, looking really loopy. So with this, I can pick the diopter setting that I need for my eye. Of course, with binoculars, what you want to do is adjust for your usually your left eye first, then you go for your right. And on this, you just pull this ring right here, and then you can twist to whatever diopter setting works for you, and then pull back down to lock it. It is so slick. The construction overall, it's kind of a rubberized coating on this whole thing, and I did test this out. Normally I baby my equipment, but I didn't really baby these. I did actually take these out and treat them like I would binoculars out in the field. So, you know, if I'm going out prairie dog hunting or whatever, these are probably living on my dash. And the neat thing about this rubberized coating is that it does kind of prevent the binoculars from really bouncing around that much and falling and sliding and that sort of thing. They tend to stay put on a dashboard quite well. It gets a lot of purchase with your hands. These things feel very good in hand. They're not so small that, you know, it feels like it just kind of minuscule in your hands and maybe not so stable. It has just a decent amount of heft to it and a good kind of palm fill. So with that 10x magnification to keep these things still, you know, it's kind of a tricky business, but the size and weight of this really helps to mitigate whatever shaky effects or, you know, whatever you might run into with that. Here's your big focus knob right here. And then one thing that I should point out that I think, you know, I mentioned before that your grandkids will be able to use these binoculars. Part of that is going to come down to what's under this skin. This is, you know, going to be coated with plastics and rubbers and all kinds of things. But under here, there's actually a magnesium subframe like you get on big expensive cameras, like say from Canon, Nikon, and some of the others. These are going to be, that's going to help keep the weight a little bit on the lower side for the structural rigidity that you're going to get from this. I think that these are going to be able to take a licking and keep on ticking. Structural integrity is only one part of the toughness equation. One of the things we need to take a good close look at is the coatings that they put on these lenses. And these have some brand new things from Bushnell. In fact, they seem to be totally proprietary. I've never heard of them anywhere else. All the lenses are fully multi-coated, and they have something called the exo barrier applied to the outer lenses. And supposedly, this is going to prevent all kinds of debris from, you know, really building up on this thing. It's going to keep anything from really sticking to the lenses, including like fingerprints and, you know, maybe some kind of goo, you know, tree sap, who knows what kind of stuff you'll be running into out there. But it's supposed to protect from that. And I gotta say, in my own testing, like I say, I didn't baby these things. You know, people's fingerprints got all over these. And today I polished these up and it's like they're brand new. I can't see any indication that anything ever happened to this. They're very scratch resistant apparently. And, you know, I did purposefully leave some big old thumbprints on the objective lenses to see, okay, you know, are these things going to kind of bake into the coating? Because I've had lenses where it's done that before. My brother actually had a camera where a kitten put its nose on his camera and he could never actually buff that back out. It stayed with this kitten nose print at the bottom of the lens and it kind of messed up all his shots after that. But yeah, with this, it just seems like nothing can stick and nothing can mar these. And I've really been impressed with how that works. And now when it comes to actually looking through these and getting work done, that's where these things really start to shine. Like I mentioned with the Engage scope, the glass is just super clear. You get tons of light transmission at dusk and then even beyond into night as long as you have a little bit of illumination. With that one, that was a 44 millimeter objective. And with this is a 42 millimeter objective, a little bit smaller. These still performed every bit as good at dusk and at night. Although I gotta say, if you do want to, you know, really do some good night shooting, you know, maybe you do some kind of hunting out way past the dusk hours, then I want you to take a look at that 50 millimeter. That's gonna help things out quite a bit. The 42 millimeter objectives on this pair of binoculars not only did a great job of reproducing details, good resolution, from daylight to dusk down into night, but they actually did just a stellar job with contrast and color reproduction as well, which are very important. A lot of time with even a high resolution pair of binoculars, you may start to lose data up into, kind of the high end of the image, down into the low. You might start to get this kind of flattened out filmic look to everything. And you may start to lose your color, especially as dusk gets on. Everything kind of starts to turn into a black and white image. And these, along with the scope, they just do such a stellar job of grabbing color data and pulling them back into your eye, even when light is very, very low. So I think in this case, like if you're out hunting and you want to be able to differentiate, okay, this is deer, this is tree, this is grass, these are the binoculars that are going to pull that off. Some other tricks that the binoculars have up their sleeve: you can focus as close as 8 feet with these, all the way out to infinity, of course. And the depth of field on these is kind of surprising. There are certain, even lower power binoculars that I've used where if you're focused on one subject, then, everything in the foreground, everything in the background is going to be out of focus. And of course, that's going to be the case here, but it seems like that depth of field is much deeper. So if you are keeping an eye on, say, a whole herd of an animal, or if you're trying to kind of keep an eye on the periphery, then these are going to give you more details, they're going to give you more information, you're going to have that deeper depth of field, and you're going to be able to see more of what's going on in the surrounding area. Now, one of the things I mentioned before that we were going to talk about the magnification on these, because 10x is pretty powerful. It depends on what you're going to be doing. If you're out at the range and you want to be able to call shots for people, okay, those 12x ones are probably going to work out well for you. If you are going to be hunting at closer ranges, or if you're going to be dealing with bigger animals or faster animals, maybe you want to back that down to the 8x model. And this one sits right between, the 10x. These are typically going to be a little bit difficult to hold steady on your face. And thanks to, a little bit of the weight that's going on, this is that 23.5 ounces. So they're not super duper lightweight, and a little heft is going to help out. That feel of the tubes themselves, it feels really good in hand, so that's going to help with stability. If you're going to be dealing with animals out on the periphery and you need to kind of be watching the edges of your image, then I recommend that if you do have the 10x model, that you go with the 50mm objective. That's going to get you a bigger exit pupil, and you can kind of move your eyes around a little bit more in the image, and you can see the edges. One of the limitations that I found on these with its kind of smaller exit pupil, if you look at something at the edge of the image, like you keep something squared up in the middle and you kind of shift your eyes over to look at something at the edge, a lot of time the image will just plain go away because you have missed that whole image. It kind of resolves to a pretty small exit pupil. So yeah, the 50mm will get you there. I think by now you have a pretty good idea of how much I like these binoculars and why. They seem to be very ruggedly built. These things are going to last a very long time, I anticipate. If something does happen, they have the Bushnell ironclad warranty, so that's 20 years. And I really do think that these are going to be able to take just a sound thrashing and be able to put up with it. And that includes everything from the glass all the way through, the total construction of the thing. I didn't mention that these are waterproof. The lenses are fog proof. They're just kind of everything proof. Go to the website, check out what they say about it, because the new lens coatings, not only do they do just a great job of pulling in light and pulling in all kinds of detail, but it seems like they are built to withstand more damage than your average binoculars out there. And especially when you consider the price point of these, I think that this is the workhorse that you've been looking for. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. Even if you didn't like this particular content, go ahead and subscribe. There's probably something coming that's more up your alley. Check out this playlist right here. This is going to have videos in a similar vein to what you just watched. These two videos we cherry-picked for you. And finally, The Social Regressive is on Patreon. So you can become a patron of the destructive arts and earn some goodies while helping us to provide high-quality videos just by kicking us a few bucks a month. Thanks a bunch for your patronage.